Good morning, everyone. Come on in, come on in. We're going to give just a second for everyone to come in, but while we are waiting, I would like to thank our replay viewers who might be joining us either via YouTube or via the Buffy's Toolbox group. So either way, thank y'all for joining. If you're not sure whether or not you are here on the replay or whether or not you're here live. If you're here live, there's going to be a little red box up above my head that says live. And if not, then that means you are in fact joining us on the replay. Please feel free to go ahead and still comment. I will come back periodically and check out any comments that might have been added after the fact. But just so you know, for some reason, this is one of the groups that Facebook does not show me notifications of when someone comments, only whether or not someone has liked a comment. Really strange. But anyway, so needless to say, I will check back and check that stuff out. If you are joining on YouTube and you are in fact a Premier Designs jeweler, and yes, you do need to be a Premier Designs jeweler because this is for jewelers only, this particular group, okay? So if you are a jeweler with Premier Designs Jewelry, you may come over to the Buffy's Toolbox group on Facebook and follow me there so that you can be a part of the live interaction. Otherwise, feel free to keep joining us here on YouTube. And if I can ever be of any assistance to you in any way, shape, or form via any questions, just let me know. All right. Good morning, everyone. So today is our Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Yay! Who's ready for some tips and tricks? Anybody put a ready in the box if you are ready for some tips and tricks on this Tuesday morning. So I have been, this last week, I decided to try something a little different, okay? And many of you know that I have always done like the sample auctions and that kind of thing. And those are fun. And don't get me wrong, they are fun and truly you can make a little bit more money doing that in the sense of because people are bidding against one another. So it can tend to kind of drive that price up as they're bidding against one another. But this past week, I decided to try something that a fellow jeweler, Miss Anita, shared with us at one of Diane Leahy's trainings. And she had stated, that she does it this way. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and give it a shot and we'll just see how it goes. And y'all, I don't know if I will ever do another sample auction because after doing it this way, it seemed so much easier. So much easier. Okay. So how many of you, and I know as jewelry ladies, we don't like to admit this, but how many of you might have more pieces than what you actually need? Put a me in the box if you have more jewelry than what you probably actually need. Now, if you're not sure whether or not you have more jewelry than what you might actually need, okay, then let me give you a little tip here. If you have more than, I'm going to say 60 pieces, 70 pieces max, if you have more than that, then you probably have more than you actually need. Okay. And that might sound strange to some of you because some of you were previously taught, look, the more you take, the more people buy. Well, the more you take, the more some people will buy. Okay. But I want to kind of put it into a little bit of perspective for you. How many of you are familiar with places like, let's say like Ollie's, or give me another one where it is more like a rummage sale. Okay. All right. I would say, no, not necessarily, Rachel. I'm talking about like on your actual display. If you have more than like 60 to 70 pieces on your actual display, because see, for myself, okay, I have my fashion segment pieces and they stay in trays that go with me into the room that we're doing the presentation in, and they don't necessarily, come back. Okay. All right. So here's what I want you to think about. You know what? Here's the thing. I want you to think about whether it be Walmart, whether it be Ollie's, whether it be any like retail place that you go into and it is like, there's just stuff everywhere, just everywhere, okay? And, okay, quick little side note. When I worked at Walmart, we were not allowed to have it that way. Like, we had to constantly be keeping up after things. Things were not allowed to just be thrown about. Like, we're talking, even in the pet food department, all labels had to be facing the same way. They all had to be lined up, okay? Good morning to you. So needless to say, just understand that that's the norm now. It's not the norm that it was supposed to be. Anyway, I digress. So here's what I want you to think about. You think about that clutter, that chaos. Exactly, Rachel. You think about that, like, there's just literally stuff everywhere. And it always makes me think about Ollie's, because our local Ollie's bargain outlet, whatever it is, you are literally having to watch where you walk, because you are having to walk around things that can't even quite make it on the shelves. They have so much stuff, okay? And here's the thing. While they might have some good things in there, and they might have some inexpensive things in there and things that I might want to get, I do not enjoy shopping at a place like that as much as I enjoy going into Cato, as an example. Y'all hear me talk about Cato all the time. Listen, I will clothing shop at Cato any day over Walmart, Target, even Kohl's. Okay? Now listen, I love me some Kohl's and I love me some Kohl's Cash, but their racks get ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous, because there is so much. You would need like 17,000 hours to go through every single thing that they have. Okay? That might be an exaggeration, but y'all know where I'm getting to, right? All right, so here's the thing. Whereas when I go to Cato, I can walk in. Everything is nice and neat. I can find everything. Everything is in order of size and color. Like, I love it. Love it. And it is such a peaceful shopping experience. Okay? And they're just like, yes, they wait on you hand and foot, don't they? They're like, hey, you know, like, okay, I see you have an armful of stuff. Would you like me to start a room for you? And they will take those items and they will take them back into the room. I don't care if you have 100 pieces you want to try on. They will put everything in one room for you. And then they will tell you, if you need anything, you just let us know. If you need a different size, if you need this, if you need that, you just let us know. They are so awesome at their customer service. That's why I love being there, because not only is their store nice and neat and clean, but even the people there, because they don't have all these buku racks and this and that, they're able to go and quickly find what you need and be able to come back. Okay? I love it. Love it. Okay? So here's what I want you to think about. When people are shopping your jewelry display, are they going to an Ollie's or are they going to a boutique? Okay? So I want you to understand that Premier truly has something. They have something great. They have this like phenomenal little thing. It's called My Premier Boutique, right? And it is only 30 pieces, y'all. 30 pieces of pre-selected jewelry. And have y'all ever seen one of those sets set up? It is stunning. I would shop from there any day of any week, okay? So I want you to think about that. If instead your table is beginning to look like a rummage sale, where there is so much stuff that they cannot focus on the pieces that you have there, that they cannot focus on the items that you are attempting to spotlight, because there is so much elsewhere. And y'all, I am speaking from experience, because I used to take about 250 to 300 pieces, because someone told me the more you take, the more they'll buy. Some will. But then you will have the other personalities who cannot stand disorganization. You will have the other personalities who get easily overwhelmed. You will have the other personalities who, if you were hoping to get anybody to possibly like want to be interested in the business opportunity, you just probably sealed your fate if you are taking 250 to 300 pieces. Because I don't care how many times you tell them, oh, I earned all this for free. I didn't have to buy all this. They're thinking in the back of their mind, either A, they have to purchase all of this, or B, they have to be some kind of a rock star jeweler to be able to get all this free stuff. Okay? So they are immediately going to shut down and be like, ain't no way I could do this. I can't afford to buy all that stuff, and I don't know how much I'm going to do with this. I might just want to do this as a hobby. There's no way. If that's the kind of display that I have to have, there's no way. My husband would kill me if I brought that much stuff into the house, okay? Rachel says, and sometimes by the time they get to a session, they don't want to take a long time to have to make... Exactly. It helps bring them to a point of decision much faster, the less that you have there, which is why even when we have a party where we have 10 to 15 people, we are still, if it's a show that starts at 7 p.m., we are still typically walking out of that show by 9:15. And that's after I would have discussed with the hostess, here's where you're at, this is how much free jewelry credit you have, here's when I'm going to call you and everything else. We are still typically walking out of that door by 9:15, 9:30 at the latest, even with these huge groups. Because we are not giving them like the whole kit and caboodle for them to have to try to look at and try to focus on and try and decide on and etc. Okay. The other awesome thing is it's way less to carry. Okay. So again, if you have way too much jewelry, if you are thinking in the back of your mind and you're going, I can promise you I have well over 100 pieces. Okay. Then it's time, and I would say 100 pieces, including whatever your fashion segment is, whatever it is that you plan to wear that night, everything. I would max yourself out at 100 pieces, period. Okay? Unless you plan to have some kind of loaner kit that you offer out to your new jewelers who can't afford I have like a hair or something coming from... I don't know where it is. It's bugging me. It just keeps like brushing against my cheek, So anyway, unless you plan on offering a loaner kit, which is something that we do, then 100 max. And even in that loaner kit, you probably only want maybe 20, 30 pieces max. So if you have more than 130, get rid of some stuff. Get rid of it. Unload. And listen, you can do even less than that. Maybe you're not someone who wants to push it to the max and say, okay, between my fashion segment, my display, and what I'm wearing, maybe all you want is 60 pieces. Okay? And then maybe you just want another 20 or 30 as a potential loaner kit to new jewelers if they need it. Okay? So again, if you have more than like 100 jewelry pieces, it's time to unload some. And if you're sitting here going, well, how do I decide what to get rid of? I don't know what to get rid of. I don't know listen, first, if you're not selling it, if it has been on your display table and it is not moving, you have not sold any, it's time to get rid of it. Okay. If you have worn it and you have never received a single compliment on it, it's time to get rid of it. Okay. If you have had it in your display, actually on your table, either featured or in your fashion segment or on your display table, whatever, for longer than about 6 months, get rid of it. Okay. It is because here's the thing. We have to remember we are wanting to constantly refresh what is in our display. Because here's why. You're going to have repeat guests. You're going to have repeat hostesses. If you're doing your job right, you're going to have those two things. Okay. So therefore you want to make sure that when they are coming, they're getting a chance to see different things. So the way that they get a chance to see different things without you having to continually just keep buying and buying and buying and buying and buying is, for one, make sure that you are doing yourself some personal jewelry shows every single month and get yourself free jewelry. As new jewelry is coming in, old jewelry must go out. Okay. Right. Also, if you don't like it, likely, yes. Okay. Now, I will say I do try to keep a variety on my table. I try to make sure that I always have certain things. Okay, so like as an example, you want to make sure that you have at least one multi-strand necklace that's long. So think vintage vibe or Cape Cod or things like that. Things that you can do some tricks with that might have some removable strands, or you can do the crisscross applesauce, things like that. You want to make sure that you have some shorter pieces that you can do the framing technique. Okay, so you have to kind of like, I hate to say break up with your jewelry, but you kind of do, because we tend to get this emotional attachment to certain things. So you want to make sure that you are removing that kind of emotional attachment to those pieces, that instead you're looking at them as silhouettes. Okay, do I have a choker? Do I have long layered necklaces? Do I have necklaces that have removable strands? Do I have hoops? Do I have studs? Do I have, just see what I'm saying? Okay, I make sure that you have all these different things. It's not so much emotionally attached to specific pieces, but rather making sure that you have a wide variety of pieces. You also want to make sure that you have a variety of metals. Okay, so don't just have an entire table full of silver, because your gold girls are going to be like, where's all the gold? Okay, or your hematite girls are going to be like, where is all that? Okay, where am I going to find this gunmetal look? Like, I see it in the book, I don't see any on the table. So you just want to make sure that you have those key pieces and that you are properly representing all the different metals that we have. Okay, if you do that and you have those staple pieces, so you have a pearl piece, okay, you have silver, you have your gold, you have your hematite, you have beaded and that kind of thing. If you are just looking at those things and taking aside the whole emotional attachment that you might have to a particular piece, it's going to be much easier for you to be able to be like, okay, I'm just going to go down through my list and this is what I need. So I hate to say, I'm just realizing this. I am seriously, like, this just popped into my head. It's the same thing as doing a capsule wardrobe, y'all, because it's the same thing with the capsule wardrobe. It is selecting certain colors. It is selecting certain pieces that would be t-shirt, long sleeve, tank tops, blazers, etc. When you just make sure that you have a couple of each of those staple things, and they're all things that can mix and match together and play well with one another, you're going to get way more out of your wardrobe than if you have a bunch of odds and ends that nothing really kind of goes with this. I don't really ever wear this or whatever. Does that make sense? So do the same thing for your jewelry display. Give yourself a capsule jewelry display. Okay? Take it back to basics, because here's the thing that's going to happen there. For one, it is going to be way less of an issue for you trying to figure out what jewelry you're going to wear every day. Okay, and we know as jewelry ladies, that is probably our number one biggest issue, is we take forever just deciding what jewelry we're going to wear. Okay, the other thing it's going to do is it is going to help you in terms of prospects at your shows. Okay, because at your shows, they're going to see this gorgeous, neat little display. And then when you show them, look, you could get basically this amount right here. You could get by just having that My Premier Boutique, and then whatever jewelry you receive from your training show, and as you earn new jewelry and things like that, right? So listen, you don't have to have 10,000 pieces. Like, we have to stop doing that, okay? Krista, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to see that, and welcome, by the way. All right, so you want to, there's a lot of things that are going to happen there that is going to make it so much easier for you. It is going to be stressful to begin with if you have emotional attachments to that jewelry. But if you instead look at the fact of, you know what, I need to unload some things, because guess what? That new fall winter line is going to be coming out in just a couple of months. And when that comes out, there's going to be other things that you want to be able to get. Okay, so start downsizing, so that as you are working your business and you're having a chance to get that free jewelry and everything else from your personal shows and all that, you are not going to run out of jewelry, okay? But keep recycling kind of what it is, you know, take some things out that are old, add some things that are new, Okay. And as you do that, you're going to have lots of samples that you need to get rid of. So now what? Okay. So this is what I did this past week. And I'm telling you, it was so nice. It went so well. So here's what I did. Okay. I went through and I figured out, okay, what it is that I wanted to get rid of. And I actually had my husband help me because that helps remove some of the emotional attachment where I'm like, okay, babe, I need like one long multi-strand necklace that's gold. So which one should I keep? And he'd be like, well, you know what? You've had that one a really long time, or I rarely ever see you even wear this one. I don't know that we've ever even featured this one at a show, so maybe we should keep that one and you should start getting some use out of that, things like that, okay? So you want to be able to look at it in that sense, and as you start going through figuring out what it is that you want to get rid of and all that sample jewelry starts piling up, you're going to be going, okay, now what? So here's what I would recommend first. If you have anything that is no longer in customer condition, meaning it has not been gently used, but it has been used. Okay. If you have any pieces that are showing their wear and tear, they need to come off your display first and foremost. And you do not sell those to anybody else unless you are going to make sure to tell them there are imperfections. There is some normal wear and tear showing. And here are the pictures of what that normal wear and tear looks like. Do not let them be surprised when it comes in the mail. Okay, but you make sure that if you're going to sell something that has wear and tear, that you make it a point to say what that normal wear and tear is. Okay, keep in mind, if you are doing this like once every 4 to 6 months, it is going to be very rare for you to have sample pieces that are no longer in customer condition. Just saying, another reason to do them more often rather than like hoarding stuff. Okay. All right. So as you are doing that, all right, and as you get those things ready, if you have any that are not customer condition, you can't sell them, you don't want them on your display, guess what you do? You don't throw them out. You put them in a different box, different tray, different jewelry box area, whatever. And that becomes the pieces that you wear when you go to the beach, when you go to the park, when you are going places that you do not want to take the chance of your good jewelry getting ruined. You use the stuff that's no longer customer condition anyway. Okay. And even if somebody points out and says, oh, hey, I love that piece. And you realize, oh, this piece is no longer current. Like I can't even get this. That's where you go, oh, thanks so much. This is part of the Premier Designs line. Have you ever heard of it? And when they say, oh no, girl, I get paid to give this stuff away for free. And while this piece is no longer available, we have a whole slew of pieces that I'm sure you would love. I would love to get you a catalog. Okay. I would love to get you some free bling, whatever it is that you want to share. Okay. So you want to look at that. Okay. So what I did was by suggestion of Miss Anita, I created a group. Okay. So I created a closed group. And I only added myself and my husband initially. Okay. So then what I did was once I had that group created, I selected a day and time that I was going to open the doors to my group. Okay. Then I shared the link for that group and said, hey, y'all, I'm going to be doing a sample sale, and these pieces are going to be going for like rock bottom prices. Okay. You are going to want, you know, if you need some free bling or need some new bling rather, then you're going to want to join this group because you're going to be able to get it at a steal. Okay. And I instructed them to simply follow the link and request to join. Now, y'all know when you have a closed group, and they have to request to join, you have to accept that request before they can begin seeing anything inside the group. Okay? So what you do is you create the group about a week or two before the sale. You do not add anybody yet. You allow those member requests to stay pending. Okay? Now, all during that week or two, you can upload pictures of your sample pieces at your leisure, because y'all, you have a week or two to be able to get it done. You can do a little bit here, a little bit there, whatever. You upload the pictures of those pieces, and then the day of the sale, you simply go to all those member requests that are pending and you click accept all or approve all, whatever it is. And it allows everyone to be added to the group at the same time. Okay. So no, I didn't PM them the link. I just posted the link on like my Facebook page, my Jewelry Lady page, whatever. I just posted the link and said, hey, if you'd like to join this group, just follow the link and request to join. Okay. But then their request stayed there pending. Okay. Now I did mine as a 48-hour sale. I started it on a Friday, which I highly recommend, y'all, because that is payday for most people. So I started it on a Friday, ended it on a Sunday, so that Monday I could start prepping all of the packages and Tuesday ship them out. Okay. I did do actual pictures of my pieces. So yes, I did take pictures of my pieces, but y'all, I just did it with my phone. I put them up on a neck board, whatever. Okay. But then here's what I did. Let me show you. Let me show you quick. Okay. So my little background here. Okay. So I have a little table that sits right in front of me. Okay. So I just put the stuff, put the necklaces on the neck board, and then propped this up next to it so that I didn't even have to type anything. Okay. I got this cute little thing from Walmart, and I just printed out a little, it's just, yeah. Okay. So printed that out, and whatever I wanted those pieces to be sold for, I took the picture of the price with that piece. So all I had to do was upload the picture. I didn't even have to, I didn't put in any kind of description. I didn't even put the name of the piece. I didn't do anything. I took the lazy man's way out this time, because usually when I do the sample sales, it is like, I mean, like the catalog description, the original retail price, what I'm selling it for now, blah, blah, blah. Like all this information. This time I'm like, you know what? Just for sake of trying, I'm going to try, like, I'm just going to post the picture that already has the price shown right on it. Okay. I'm just going to post that and we'll just see. I posted 45 pieces, and within 16 hours, 41 of those pieces sold. Okay. We made over $500 in 16 hours. I wound up having to put a post in that group to say, y'all, I truly thought this was going to last 48 hours. I'm so sorry. Instead, I'm going to give anybody else that wants to place an order from our catalog, I'll give you 30% off, because I feel bad that this didn't last the full 48 hours, because I still had people requesting to join the group when I only had 4 items left. Okay. And I'm going, well, I'll add you, but there's only 4 items. So I'm sorry. But listen, here's what that's going to do. That is going to create a sense of urgency for all of my future sample sales, that people will know, look, if this thing is supposed to start Friday night at 8 o'clock, I need to be there Friday night at 8 o'clock, because this stuff went like this, you know what I mean? Okay. It went super, super quick. So keep that in mind. All right. But here's the awesome thing. So then what I told them is, when you're finished shopping, and basically the way that it works is the first person who comments sold gets it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. What I thought was funny was people on their own doing decided that on some pieces, even after they were claimed, they would put next right underneath that piece, basically saying, if for any reason the payment of these items falls through, I'd like to be next, please. Okay. So that just kind of blew me away, because I didn't even tell them to do that. They just did it. Okay. So they went through, commented, sold, and I told them, I had another post that said, when you're done shopping, comment here comment done along with your email address, and I will invoice you. Okay. So once they were finished and I saw that it said done, I tallied up what it was that they were getting. And then I was able to send them an email invoice right away. So this started Friday. It was supposed to end Sunday. By last night, I had all but like 3 payments, I think. So it was, I mean, it went like boom, boom, boom. And when I was doing the sample auctions, I was leaving those things open for 5 days, and I had to keep track of what items received comments within the last 24 hours, because if there was no prior bids, blah, 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 within the last 24 hours, and it went to the highest bid, all these, and it was like, it was so much. It went well, don't get me wrong, because I think our highest ever sample auction was about $1,000. So it went well, okay, but it was so much for me to keep track of. So instead, yes, I did do shipping. So basically what I said was, if it's 1 piece, your shipping and insurance cost is going to be $3. If it is 2 or 3 pieces, it'll be $6. Anything 4 pieces or more, it's $10, because then I send in like the big flat rate envelope with the insurance and all that kind of stuff. So I just did it that way versus where they lived, because that's just pain to try and figure out, okay, well, because then you have to package everything and take it to the post office, figure out what it is, then get back to them with what the, no, we just did flat rate shipping of, if it's this many pieces, it's this many this, and it just kind of broke it down that way, and it went so well. I was so stinking excited. Now, yes, I will tell you that many of our pieces went for well below CV. Brooke, I would not do tax on those items, because unless you plan to send that tax to your state, there's not really any reason to charge tax. No. Because chances are, if you live in a state that charges tax, you would have already paid tax on that item when that item was purchased the first time around. So no, I would not charge tax. No, I would just do the piece and shipping. So yeah. So I did this through a private group. Okay, it was a private group, and they had to request to join. Now, here's what happened next. Okay, so in order to make sure that people knew what items were still available versus which ones were already sold, as people's payments came in, I immediately went in and deleted the images of those pieces that were now bought and paid for. Okay, that way there was no question of, is this still available, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Okay, so I went through and deleted those images as I was done. So now that the group, or now that the sample sale is over, here's what I will be doing. The 4 items that were still left, those pictures are just going to stay there. But every single person that requested to join will be removed from that group, okay, until the next sample sale. So then when the next sample sale comes, I will repost the link, and they will have the ability to rejoin that group. Does this make sense? Okay, so then the group is already there. I already have it set up. Everything's already in it, but I can just keep removing them from the group and then adding them back when they request to join at a later date. So this went so well, because in the past, when I was doing the sample auction, it was kind of like people were joining the group, and then I was trying to get things posted. But here's the thing, y'all. Every single time you are posting in that group, these people's notifications are blowing up. Okay? They are getting like 20, 30 notifications, all just from your group, that is blowing up in their little notification box. Okay? So this is why it's helpful. One of the reasons why it's helpful, all right, to make sure that you are not adding them before you add all your items. The other reason is it creates a sense of mystery when they're kind of like, man, I wonder what she's got in there. I can't wait to get in there. Hey, did you hear anything about what she's got in there? Because I got some girls that will talk. Okay, they will be talking to one another, being like, do you happen to know what she's, do you know if she's going to be getting rid of this? I saw that on her table before, and this and that. So it's funny. It truly is. But the other thing is, I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it this way too. When you have a group, that you're allowing people to join before you're uploading all the pictures. Wouldn't that be like if you went to a store and you stood there and waited for them to bring out one by one what they were going to have available for sale that day? To me, that's what it would be like. It would be like just standing around, like waiting for the workers to bring out one piece by one piece by one piece of what is available to purchase, versus being able to walk through the virtual doors of being added to the group and everything is already there. Okay. That would feel like such a waste of time to me if I sat there waiting for all these things to be uploaded. And let's say it took her an hour to get things uploaded. And as she's uploading things, I keep checking back all excited. And then I'm like, nah, I'm not into that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Versus if you can just pop in, do a quick browse through and be like, nothing in here that I need this time. And be able to pop out. Like, how much time was wasted? Seriously, just like a couple of minutes. Versus sitting around and waiting for all of these things to be added. Okay? Plus, like I said, it keeps their notifications blowing up. All kinds of reasons to not do that. Okay? So, I absolutely love this idea. I absolutely adore this idea. Okay? Now, listen. And it is something that you can do it however it best suits you. Okay. Krista says like a garage sale that's not ready. Yes. Okay. But now listen, we also got to remember that there are some yard salers who you can tell them it starts at 7:00. You'll be out there setting up at 6:30 and they are already trying to pop in. Okay. So yes, Rachel, you are so right. We created a Black Friday urgency. So now when the next sale comes around, people are going to be like, man, I got to make sure that I am on there right away. Okay. Because otherwise they're going to miss out. And they have seen that firsthand now. So Missy, unfortunately, again, because the group, like everything's out of the group. So there's not really anything there. The only thing that I can tell you is when the next one comes around, you're welcome to join it so you can see kind of how the whole process works. But right now there's not really anything in there other than the 4 items that didn't sell. So that's it. But otherwise there's nothing else in there. I didn't really I can share the verbiage. I'll share the verbiage in the Buffy's Toolbox group. I'll share the verbiage there as far as what's in my group description. But other than that, there's truly nothing there. Rachel says, did you just sell current items or did you sell both retired and inline current line and retired? Actually, I would be willing to bet, if I'm not mistaken, I think everything that I just did in this past sample sale, they were all current items. I believe they were all current items, if memory serves me. Erin, I do individual posts, not albums. Listen, I want people to just scroll down through and be able to see. And unfortunately, what happens is when you do albums, then if somebody comments on that one picture, well, now that one picture will show up in the posts, but it wouldn't be all of them. So it would seem weird. They would feel like, do you see what I'm saying? Like they would start to think that, oh, it's just individual pictures, but then they would realize that, oh, there was an album I was supposed to click on and I didn't. I just do individual posts. And because of the fact that you're doing it before you're adding anyone, you're not blowing up their notifications. And so that's one of the biggest reasons why most people tend to do albums instead of individual post, because they don't want to be blowing up people's notifications. Not going to happen if they're not added on there. Yes, I will, Missy, I will get that info put out on Buffy's Toolbox group. I will absolutely do that. All right, any other questions? And I'm going to scroll back through after I pop off here too, and just double check to see if there was any questions that were asked that I didn't see. What about date stamps on the post? Tell me what you mean by that. I'm not sure what you mean by date stamps on the post. So it was no. Actually, what I did was the more expensive items I did at 15. The median priced items, so like our average price piece around $40, that was marked down to 10, and all earrings were 5. So like I said, I did like rock bottom prices, but y'all, these things were seriously just sitting in my cabinet. They were just sitting in my cabinet. They weren't being used. They weren't being utilized in any way. They were collecting dust. So I'm like, there's no reason for me to have it. And we had a short week last week that my husband was off a day from the week before. So we had a short week. We had some other things that came up that we needed to take care of. And I'm like, look, we are just going to do this sample sale and we'll see how it goes. And I'm telling you, to be able to have like over $500 that you're able to then transfer into your bank account by the time the weekend's over, like that was like, thank you. So that was truly a lifesaver for us this past week. So yes, yep, absolutely. All right. Any other questions? When it is posted, a date shows if the group opens a week later or items carry over like the 4. No, I don't think that makes a difference. I truly don't. But here's what I would say. Even those 4 items that are still in there, all you would have to do is just put in the like edit the post to just say still available at the top. That's all you'd have to do. And then they would understand that it's still an available piece. So yeah, that, or because of the fact that all I'm doing is just posting a picture, I could just delete the picture and just re-upload it. Like to be able to make sure that it has the same date stamp as everything else. But the fact of, listen, I am a firm believer. I don't think people look at those date stamps anyway, because do you know how many times I've had somebody like go back through a profile picture of mine from like years ago and they'll comment on it, and then suddenly, because that pops it back up into everybody's newsfeed, then suddenly I'm getting messages left and right that they're like, oh, did you cut your hair again? Or your hair's gotten so long since the last time I saw you, or, you know, all these different things. And I'm like, yo, this picture was from like 3 years ago. Like, did you not see the date? Or think about how many times people have shared the like, oh my gosh, this awful storm is coming. And you look at the date stamp, you might be the first one to ever have noticed it. And it's a post that's shared from like 2014. And here it is now 2017. And people are sharing it again as though it's current. Does that make sense? So I truly don't believe, Krista, you and I might be one of the few people who even look at the timestamp. I really don't think that's even an issue. Yep. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to let y'all go. Was this helpful for you guys today? Did this maybe give you some new ideas on, perhaps for one, what your display should possibly look like, and for 2, how to maybe get rid of some of those samples? I hope it helped y'all. I'm telling you, when Anita was telling me this, well, I say telling me this like she was talking to me personally. She was telling us this at a training. See, as far as I'm concerned, she was talking to me directly. Okay. So as she was sharing this, I was just like, oh my word, this sounds so much easier than the way that I was doing it. This sounds like, and it was, so here's what I did real quick for the purpose of record keeping, as far as like keeping everything straight. Okay. I just, as I was taking pictures of things and posting them, I was writing them down in a little notebook. And then as people would comment sold underneath that piece, I would go back to my list and write in who purchased it. That's it. That's all I had to do. Okay. And then I created another, on another page that I just wrote down, okay, this person purchased this, and this. Their total is, and I invoice them on this date. Then when they pay, I can write in their address, because they have to provide their address when they are giving their payment info through ProPay. So I'm able to get their address. I write down their address and then I just highlight it. And that's how I know that person has paid. This is ready for shipment, and everything else and all their info is right here. So that went so much easier for me than the way that I used to do it. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And you might need some help. Listen, it might even be a matter of, you might have to look at things and be like, okay, so I have this piece and I have this piece, and both of them are fairly similar. So now which one do I keep? Well, what you want to ask yourself is, which one has the most versatility and which one is newer? That's the one that you keep. Okay. Yes. So here's what they do. They just comment sold underneath that particular piece. There is another post that just says, when you're done shopping, comment done and add your email address, and I will invoice you so that you can pay for your order directly. Okay. So then they go through, they hit, sold here, sold here, sold here, sold here. And then they'll go back up to the top and click done. They'll say done and then add their email address. And then I know, okay, that person's done. And I got notifications that they commented on this, and this. Does that make sense? So then I can just write down what it is that they got, what their shipping is, send them an invoice, and be able to ship everything out. So it worked very well. All right. Thank you, Kimberly. You have a great day as well. All right. Well, I think that is all for the questions. I'm going to let you guys go. I've kept you on here way too long, so I want to let you scooch. Tomorrow is our Wisdom Wednesday, so I will be sharing some little nugget of wisdom, some little nugget of information of some sort with you. And then we will just kind of go from there. And if anybody has any additional questions, please feel free to go ahead and keep putting them down here in the comment stream. As I said, unfortunately, for whatever reason, Facebook does not send me notifications. I've checked my notification box. It is on. It is on for all comments, for all posts, for all whatever. Everything is marked. But this is one of the groups that for some reason I don't get that. Angela, I just determined shipping by number of pieces. So for one piece, they pay $3. 2 or 3 pieces, they pay $6. 4 or more, it's $10. And that covers all of their shipping, insurance, everything. Covers everything. Now, I'm sure there are some packages that my shipping cost might be a little bit more than that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I truly don't. So there might be some where I'm losing. There might be some where the shipping wasn't quite as much and things like that. It's, but it's one of those where for the most part, that is going to, it's going to balance out one way or another. But for the most part, to do shipping, insurance, etc. on one piece, on one box, in one of the small like manila envelopes, you're looking at about $3 to be able to cover all of that. So yes. So I hope that helps. And you guys have an amazing day. I would love to hear how your sample sales go. And if you're struggling with what to keep in your display, another thing you might want to consider is go to the Premier Designs website and look at the national top sellers for the last 2 months. Okay. And as you're looking at that, those are items that you might want to keep on your table. Just saying. Okay. So if you're having a tough time being able to, that can kind of help you maybe narrow things down a bit. So I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Remember, be here tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern time in the morning, and I will be sharing some sort of little nugget of wisdom with you that has been passed to me or something that I've come across, whatever. Okay? Yes. Siobhan says, or look at your own top sellers from Hood & House. That is one of the things, if I'm looking at something and I'm going, not sure whether I should keep this or get rid of it, I immediately go to my Hood & House, and if it is not showing on my top 25 sellers, over the last like 4 months, it's gone. It's gone. Because if I'm not selling it, even if I have it there, then there's no reason for me to keep carrying it. So it could just be my location. It could just be whatever. It doesn't matter. So sometimes, even if it's selling nationwide, if I'm not selling it and I haven't sold any over the course of the last 4 months, then I get rid of it anyway. So, all right, you all have a fabulous day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much.